Thank you so much for being here. I'm really honored to start the development track of this conference. Actually, it's first time at this conference, and you know, I'm from Chicago, so Chicago, New York, you know, so I'm like nervous how you guys will like receive this presentation. So hopefully it will be well, and as I already mentioned, it's very short, so just the perfect size for people who are just waking up and sipping their coffee. So if you can, please silence your cell phones, pagers, even you are on call. I know, sometimes it's challenging, but please pay attention. It will be really, really short, okay? So since that is a new audience for me, and you guys do not know me, most of you at least, let me say a couple of words about myself. Since you will see and hear me a lot at this conference. So that's one thing you need to know, I like to talk. So if I'm here, you'll hear a lot of me. So my name is Hetty Dombrovska. Do not try to pronounce my last name, just Hetty is fine. I'm an associate director of databases at Braven Holdings, and that's new fintech startup. And I've been doing databases forever, for 36 years, so people do not live that long, but actually that's how long I'm doing databases, for 36 years. And I used to be, for over 20 years, hardcore Oracle person, starting from Oracle free. Again, most of you do not even know that Oracle existed with this version number. So it did exist, and I've been hardcore Oracle. So when I was first offered the job for the Postgres DBA, actually, I didn't think about it as a real job, because I don't know. I mean, I had some PostgreSQL when I was a student, and that was in the 80s. Again, people didn't even born at this time, so. So I thought I will just, I just needed a new job. I wanted to leave my previous, and I thought I will just do, couple of months while I will be looking for real job and real database like Oracle. So 3 months later, I actually really, really loved Postgres. It turned to be so awesome, so not like Oracle, so different. I totally sold, totally in love, and I decided to stay. So that's been 7 years ago, and for these past 7 years, I've been working with Postgres and developing cool stuff in Postgres, okay? So that's what things maybe want to know about me. So another thing you want to know, I love databases, I love optimization, and the other thing, I love foreign data wrappers. So you probably were intrigued about this name of this talk, calling functions with foreign data wrapper. If you check documentation, no, you did not miss anything. You cannot map functions using foreign data wrapper. You cannot. So this morning joke, wake up call. I will be done in 10 minutes. It's super short talk, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's it? Okay, so let's proceed. So what we can do with foreign data wrapper. By the way, I love foreign data wrappers. That's one of the coolest things at Postgres. I always feel it's like a magic. You can just have a window in the other world and get there and do anything you want in this other world. So you can map tables, you can map views, you can map other foreign tables, building the chains of foreign data wrappers. Actually, that's what we do in Braven Holdings. You can sometimes even map queries, but yes, you are right, you cannot map functions. That's true. So I love functions. I love functions. I'll be talking a lot today about functions. So I wanted to map functions because that's you build something cool in one place, you want it to be available in the other place. So if you really love something, if you're really persistent, if there is a will, there is a way. And the next question you might ask, hey, why you want even to map functions? It's just a ridiculous idea. It's not that, it's functions. Why you want to map functions? So to explain why you might want to map functions, let me show you 2 case studies, and while showing these case studies, I will explain what was beneficial about using functions in these cases. So, case study number 1. How many of you ever migrated a system from old to new? And you know the pain, because you cannot do it overnight. You have coexist, and you have to sync, and things work differently, and everybody unhappy. They're saying you're doing wrong thing. So I've done it multiple times, 2-digit number of times in my professional life. So that's one of the things we're doing right now. We're migrating from old client to new client. And in the new system, I actually built fabulous, beautiful identity. Build identity. You know why we need identity? So we're a fintech company. We have people who apply for loans. They apply, they use their email, and they use their SSN. And you want actually to make sure that there is not like the whole family applying with the one SSN, which happens, or you want to make sure that husband and wife do not use the same email, having loans covering, their debts from each other with like different SSNs, so you know what happens. So you want to do this. So believe it or not, but the old client, which was developed not by me, and before I even came on board, they did not do this identity check when people apply. So that's, we had like lots of disastrous data, or let's say politely dirty data. So when we started to build new system, I made sure we have this identity, so now we're checking that there is, that will never happen that somebody applied with the same email address and with different SSN, and the opposite. So we have processes we check which do not allow this. But obviously, we have currently old client and new client. So like some of our clients apply from new, and the other of our customers apply from old, and old does not do this check. So you know what I do not want? I just cleaned up, what disastrous, like long running process when I go into business, like, tell me what I have to do with these people who have like 3 people with the same email and different social security. So I'm done, I'm clean, I do not want anybody to apply with wrong data. I cannot really influence what this old client is doing because, okay, it's written on Python, enough said, so like I don't want to do anything with them. But I still want to keep my data clean when data comes from this new client. So this is my idea. We can create a trigger because that's like technically our database, this old client. So I can create a trigger on the table. I cannot really do anything with their process, with their Python program, but I can create a trigger on the table. So when they try to insert a person with some wrong combination of email and social security, it would not allow. But what I need to do, I need to call my function which does the validation, because it's a little bit more than just comparing the values. If I could only call my function from their client, right? Okay, so now watch here. Now that's like I said, I already am talking for 10 minutes, but now actually like 5 minutes of actual stuff, okay? So, okay. This function, you see there, okay, where my pointer, my green pointer look, okay, doesn't much in the work. Okay, so you see this function, identity user account getJ. By the way, that's a function which returns JSON, and please come to our after lunch presentation, we'll show our functions which return JSON. So that's our function which checks whether this user with this username exists, and it will return everything including social security. So that is the function. That is, so look, this view, I created this view in our new system on identity. So what this view does, I select everything from user account. So first column, username, second column, brand, third column, the call for this function with this username and this brand from this table. So thank you, whoever first decided that Postgres function should be different than any other functions in the universe, and they are being actually selectable in this view. So that is actually real view, correct view. So do not try select all from this view. That's what my junior DB developers tried when they first came on board. Do not try to select from the view. But again, Postgres Optimizer, I love Postgres Optimizer, best optimizer in the universe, commercial, non-commercial. So what it can do now, when you select from this view where username equals something, it actually knows that it does not need to calculate functions for everything. It knows to go to this table, select this row, and tag in these 2 values and return the result. So now I have a view, and we can map you to the foreign table, right? We can. So now I'm going to this old client, and I'm creating foreign table, and I'm mapping this view to this old client. So now, when we are on the old client, you know what we can do? That's what we can do. We can select from, so a new application comes. New application comes, in this new application, we have their new username, which is their email address, and whatever brand they're applying for Balance brand. and I can select this user if I have it in identity. I'm actually returning complex JSON object, by the way, but it does not matter for this presentation. It will matter like 4 hours later for our next presentation. Okay, so and now I can find trigger if I cannot find them. Same with Social Security. I can find having Social Security. I can find whether we had this person and what was their email. That's it. Case study 1 is over.
Beautiful.
Yeah, right? Thank you. Yeah. Look, I've been doing this talk several times, and each time people like sit in the first row like, oh my God, that's funny, right? It's just very funny. All right, so no magic, and now you know why. It's not because I'm crazy. I love function crazily, but there is a reason. Okay, now I have 5 more minutes for case study number 2. Okay, case study number 2. So we're a small company. We're a very small company. So actually we have external service providers. So we are doing short-term loans, and we have external service provider who deals with loans. They deal with our loans, and we have to deal with them. And trust me, you would rather not, but it is what it is. So that's the part of their schema. I did not design the schema, okay? I would never design. But that's on their side, that's their schema. So they have loan entity, which has ID, and they have loan settings entity. Do not ask me why they need 2, but they have, so here we have, in loan settings entity, ID is this table ID, and loan ID is foreign key for this loan. Oh, by the way, and that's MySQL. It's MySQL, and they do not really have foreign keys. They don't have anything. They don't know how to, don't put it? Okay. They do not know how to query. They do not know how to optimize. They don't know how to query. They know nothing. So, but actually that is a foreign key. And then because they do not know how to store different data, you know what they do? They do key value store. Love it, right? In 36 years of my career, every 2 years, somebody comes with a revolutionary idea of how we can make our life better with no tables, no nothing. Key value storage. So they have this custom field entity where they put everything which does not fit in other tables. So, and there is one field which we need to sync in real time. This one field is actually a loan servicer, and it references entity type loan settings and loan settings ID. Technically, that's what I should write to get the servicer. And as I said, SOP, it's MySQL. To their credit, they built all correct indices. So loan entities indexed by ID, loan settings indexed by loan settings and loan ID. And this horrible key value storage is indexed by entity ID, entity type, and ID. So technically, you can find everything by indices because it's like real time. We call it from OLTP. It should be milliseconds. Unfortunately, for data wrapper plus, they just cannot do things right. If you try to do this, so you see here, I have P loan ID. That's my parameter because I'm syncing a loan. Okay, so I'm syncing a loan, and they cannot use indices. So what they could do, they actually like free full table scans. So something I needed to do, right? And again, now I will show you something, and you can ask me, Hetty, you said you cannot, you're doing something on MySQL. Okay, to be fair, like full disclosure, because there are no AWS people here. AWS people, okay, I actually would love to have AWS people here. You know why? Because for the past 3 years in each conference, I'm like, I need foreign data wrapper to MySQL on RDS. And each time they, okay, Hetty, just here is my email. If I won't deliver it in 3 months, email me directly. Still the same. So in RDS, we still do not have foreign data wrapper to MySQL. So thereby, because we are on RDS, because a small company, we cannot have like 24/7 support, though effectively we are. We use RDS. So in order to be able to talk to MySQL to RDS, we use like small proxy on EC2, which actually does the mapping, and then we map from this EC2. So what I will show next is actually on proxy, but this proxy talks directly to MySQL. So that's like hidden like details. I created a function on this proxy. So now watch. This function has extra parameter, which you do not need. It's extra parameter. So it has loan ID and loan settings ID. And you do not need it because by loan you can figure out loan settings. But we put it here, okay? So now, okay, watch the magic. So that's the function. I'm selecting this value from the custom field value, which I join with loan settings entity. And I pass for loan settings entity, I pass loan ID parameter. And for the custom fields entity, I pass loan settings ID. So I inject extra value here. And when I inject extra value, that's when my SQL uses all indices correctly. And this is returned like in single number of milliseconds. Otherwise, it's like, it's long. I haven't forgot how was it. It was like closer to a minute, like 3 big table scans, because especially this like key value storage. Okay, I don't want to talk about key value storage in MySQL. But okay, so now I created this function which returns one value on proxy. So next you already know, right? I created a view on proxy which has, so it selects from one table, loan settings, and has 3 fields, loan ID, and the call to this function. So again, Postgres is smart enough not to go through all these foreign tables, loan settings, but to get to the correct row. So we got to correct row, and at this point it actually uses MySQL indices. So it goes in this loan settings entity to the correct row with correct loan settings. Then it's in this row, and then it takes these 2 values and it inserts these 2 values in the function execution as constants, and they're saved actually. Because you know what, we have this real-time sync, and that is super important for us. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I told this will be short. I am done in 17 minutes, though I talked a lot and even not about this presentation. And we have 3 minutes for questions. Yes?
So the first use case you have, why not create a unique index on the SSN or email? Why do you have to create a function?
Oh, no, because I cannot change the structure. First of all, it's a little bit more complex because we have different brands, and also our system is bitemporal. And on this conference, I'm not talking about bitemporal framework, but a separate story. But the thing is, again, that we cannot do it from the old client side. So it's it's a little bit more complex. So old client side, it does what it does. It has this table where they historically have all these applications which have like tons of dirty data. I cannot do anything with them. So with us, again, it's like, I mean, now I'm just showing I need to check this identity, but again, it's a little bit more involved. So basically, I need the whole output, and doing this whole output is like not like this. So unique index, I cannot build unique index neither this side nor on that side. My index is more complex because it's bitemporal, so it's bitemporal uniqueness. And on their side, they cannot because they have multiple applications with multiple SSNs, and they do not have a separate table with identity. So there's like no way to do this. Any more questions? Yes?
Any idea about integrating Solar Search with the FDW? Any idea?
What is this? I don't know.
I wanted to integrate Solar Search with the FDW with the Postgres.
What is Solar Search?
Solar Search is an actual server. We can search, you can keep data in the Solar Search because the volume of data is huge in the history.
No, you know what? Okay, I'm not introducing extra database. We're a small company. We're saving money, okay? And I can beat any search, okay? I can beat any search. Like, I am officially, like, you know how Garry Kasparov can compete with any computer, I can compete with any fast search. I just need the ways to. So again, the problem was here, again, I want to iterate, the problem was not in search, and the problem is not on the Postgres side. The problem is that I need to communicate with systems which are not mine to this or that extent. So I cannot do the right things on these remote systems. So in both cases, if they would let me do what I want, I wouldn't have to do that. Okay? But because they do not let me to do what I want, you have this funny presentation. Okay. Any more questions?
Yes, nobody else.
Nobody else? Yeah, no, nobody else. Yeah, sure.
The second use case, the function you created is on MySQL side, right?
No, so that's what I told. It's on our proxy. So the thing is, they do not allow me to do anything on their side. But I'm doing it in between on my proxy.
Okay.
So that's how I do it. So I mean, I'm actually bringing data to proxy like this way, yeah. And then I'm mapping this function from proxy to my identity. So it's like as I said, if they would allow me to build it on their side, again, it would be like much better, right? Yes.
So, do you keep the connections to MySQL alive, or with after a request, the connections get dropped?
No, that is a standard foreign data wrapper. So so whatever connection foreign data wrapper initiates, nothing beyond. So I am very limited with tools. Is RDS. So we have RDS. All our OLTP and OLAP, they are running on like standard IDS, like X/4 I think configuration, and we have this proxy which is small EC2, which holds no data, just for connectivity with unfriendly environments.
I asked this because since you had a proxy, you have the option to keep additional state information if you wanted to, right? So
additional state information for what?
like to keep connections alive and stuff like that.
No, that's again, there are two foreign data wrappers. No,
Okay.
that doesn't buy me anything. So basically, on RDS, I have foreign data wrapper, two foreign data wrapper.
In your example, your proxy is another Postgres database.
It's another Postgres just
I
EC2
see.
because
Yeah.
it allows me
use
to
of
talk to.
terms. Sometimes proxies mean
No, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
no, that's our homegrown proxy. Okay,
Yeah.
I started in this company 3 years ago, sole database person. You know, that was rough.
Understood.
That was rough. Okay.
I just know that sometimes people interpret the word proxy.
Yes. No. Yes.
Good to
Yes.
know.
Okay. Our
Nice.
proxy, our homegrown proxy, very homegrown proxy.
Right.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes.
How much the data volume in the remote system? How?
Oh,
much you-
in the remote system, in this MySQL, gosh, it's, you know what, I cannot tell you in like gigabytes or terabytes because I probably can do it, but I mean, this table, which was like actually bad table, we are querying, it's like tens of millions. So I do not remember exact figure. Their biggest tables are like hundreds of millions. Their smallest tables are like hundred thousands, and this one is like single number of millions. So again, you know, my thing is that we are a small company, we are growing, and they already like ran out of capacity to support us multiple times. So now I'm building this for the future. So for this month, no matter how big they will grow, I will be good.
Was there any performance with the? All of these?
Performance is beautiful. Actually, more about performance come to our 1 o'clock presentation. So we'll talk more about how we build the system and more about performance. All right, thank you.